They got me playing double duty this morning. That's what happens, I guess. How's everybody this morning? Fantastic. Fantastico, right? Well, it's good to have everybody this morning. Good to see you. Let's go ahead and send up the kiddos, the buckaroos. Can go upstairs. That's 8 and under. 8 and under. Can go upstairs. Let's try not to rush. No stampeding in cowboy church, boys and girls. Take it easy. Pretty sure they're going to have a great time, as they always do.
Figured I better cool them down.
I'm going to get it hot.
I know.
I'm going to get it hot.
Humidity, can you turn the level down? Just see what you can do for us, okay?
I'll work on that.
Thank you. I just want to put it out there.
We might have to move to Colorado or West Texas or something, but, you know, maybe Arizona. Be pretty cool, right? Well, let's get started with a word of prayer. You know, I thank you for the day, and I thank you for our time together this morning, Lord. I thank you that you're here, that you said you'll be with us. God, I just thank you for that. I thank you that you fill us with your Holy Spirit that can guide, and that we can point ourselves around. And God, I just pray this morning that you'll speak through me, and that my words will be yours, and that you will show us things that we can understand. God, I thank you for this morning, and I just pray that you'll open our hearts to be able to absorb what it is you have to tell us this morning. God, I thank you and we love you. And hear my prayer. Amen. So this morning, I want to tell you a little bit about, I had an opportunity this week. We went out and was feeding some cows, and we have a couple of older cows. We got separated from our younger cows that are fat, right? The younger cows stay fat fairly easy, and the older cows, they get skinny, right? They ain't got no teeth, right? And so on the back half of the little place we got leased, we got our skinny cows, and so we've been going back there every day and feeding them, and you know, so we can maybe try to get some weight on them, so maybe we'll get a little more at sale barn whenever we sell them, right? And so we got back there, and our bull had been in the front pasture with the younger cows, right? And we went through the front pasture and there was no bull. All the other cows were there, but there was no bull. Well, that's an issue, right? Because he has been known to get out on the neighbor's place with all his heifers. He didn't really like that. So, anyway, so we thought, man, well, I don't know what the deal is. Anyhow, we found him back in the back. This was a couple of weeks ago. We found him back in the back with the other older cows, right? And so it was very interesting then. But then this week we got back there to feed the older cows, and there was no bull, and that's a bit of an issue. And so we decided, you know, it would probably be a good idea if we walked the fence. See if we can find a place where he might have gotten out. And we had been around this fence when we first got the lease, but hadn't been back around it. You know, we fixed everything up, tightened everything up, and you know, you just don't have time to check fences every day. So we let out, crawling through the bushes, and you know, because ain't no fence out in the open, right? Nobody got a fence out in the open. I mean, that'd be smart, right? But, so we go run through the bushes, and for the most part, it was in pretty good shape. But there was one line that was just, I mean, there could have been anywhere in that line he could have gotten out, right? And so we looked through there and thought, man, there's no evidence, right? There was some places where he might have gotten out, but the fence just wasn't down, right? It was just kind of loose in places. And so there was places that he might have gotten out, but there really wasn't any evidence that he went through, right? There was no hair on the barbs, there wasn't no footprints right there by it. So we're like, man, that sucker's dead somewhere. And this is not an old bull, it's a young bull, right? So he shouldn't be dead. He should be having the time of his life. All he can eat and all the women he can date, and I mean, just having a great time, right? So we got to looking around and came back out to the pasture and was walking across the pasture, and here comes one of the cows out of the bushes, and that we had seen already. Well, right behind the daggum cow was the bull. Where he was, I don't know, but he found a good hiding spot, and that's apparently he decided to show himself. But apparently he didn't want feed. But I say all that to say this. We're about to start this little bitty short series, right? Because Easter's coming up. We can't go into that. But little bitty short series on corner post, right? Because if you don't have a good corner post, you don't really have a good fence, right? Your fence gets weak, wire stretches, I mean, it ain't no good. The fence isn't any good if you don't have a good corner post. So a lot of our ideas and thoughts in our spiritual walk and our faith need to have corner posts. We need to have corner posts that are set in stone, that are set in the ground, that we can rely on to make sure our fence is tight. To make sure, because what do you do with a fence? Anybody know? What's a fence for? I mean, in reality. It depends on where in the United States you are, right? Because down here, we fence things in, right? We fence our stuff in. That's what our fence is for. We want to fence our stuff in, right? In other parts of the world where it's a little bit bigger country, they actually fence stuff out, believe it or not. They fence other people's cows out of their place. Hard to believe, but they do that. I mean, sure. I don't see a brand on that cow. Yeah, he can come live on my place. Oh, that's my cow. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But we down here, we fence things in, right? And we fence in our property. We fence in all kinds of stuff. We show property lines. But we're either going to fence our stuff in, or we're going to fence other things out. Right, bad things. We'll fence bad things out and good things in, right? Because we own the good things. Of course, everybody owns the good stuff, and nobody else owns as good stuff as you do. So you ain't gonna fence the bad stuff out and the good stuff in, right? Anybody's got cattle knows that. I got the best cows around, right? And everybody else has subpar cattle. You know, they don't have enough ear, or they got horns, or they don't have horns, or there's all kind of stuff. But there's good and bad. Either way, and it depends on who owns the cattle, and they're either good or bad, right? Some people own cattle that'll eat you up, and they just love them, right? And they think the cattle that you can lead around with a halter are no good. Crazy, I know. But some people think that way. But anyway, we're gonna set some corner posts for our spiritual walk, okay? And that's what we're gonna do for the next couple of weeks. But this week, I'm going to start off with kind of the biggies, right? There's two biggies and they actually start off way back in the Old Testament, and they actually start off really long, right? And then we're going to shorten it, okay? And then we're going to kind of talk about that. But in the Old Testament, some of these corners are in Exodus chapter 20, verses 3 through 17. And this is going to be a little piece, but I want you to understand, this is the Ten Commandments. And this is, they've shortened it for all the plaques and all the little things, and this is the real deal right here, okay? This is the long version. We're going to read the long version about the Ten Commandments. So in Exodus chapter 20, this is God has come down on Mount Sinai and he has given Moses these 10 commandments, right? Moses got to be really close to God. Not very many people can say this, right? I mean, we can be close to God, yes. But I mean, physically, this sucker was close to God. I mean, he was glowing when he came back down. He was so close to God, right? He was radiant. He was just like beaming. I mean, when we talk about beaming, you know, they always talk about girls and how they beam when they're in love and all that good stuff. He was literally beaming, radiating, because he was in the presence of God. Okay? And so these commandments that he gave came from God. And so these are pretty well, I mean, if you're going to think of a good corner post that you want to have in your life about what you can and can't do, this would be a good place to start, right? I mean, because this obviously came from God. So look at Exodus chapter 20, verses 3 through 17. It says, "You must not have any other God but me. You must not make for yourself an idol of any kind or an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. You must not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God who will not tolerate your affection for any other gods. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected, even children in the third and fourth generations of those who reject me. But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. You must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name. Remember, though, to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath day of rest, dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigners living among you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. But on the seventh day he rested. That is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. Honor your father and mother, then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God has given you. You must not murder. You must not commit adultery. You must not steal. You must not testify falsely against your neighbor. You must not covet your neighbor's house. You must not covet your neighbor's wife, male or female servant, ox or donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. Wow, that's a lot of detail, right? A lot of things don't do. And there's whole books in the Old Testament that have to do with laws that were given to Moses and to the Israelites about everything under the sun that you can possibly imagine. But this is kind of the major points, right? These are some major deals. Kind of covers the basis of things that are moral and immoral, things that are good and not good. But Jesus rolled all these laws, all these commandments into 2 statements. And I think the reason he did this was to make it easy for us simple folk, right? It just makes it a little easier for us to get. Matthew chapter 22 through 37 through 40 says, Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these 2 commandments." Wow. I mean, that just makes it easy, right? No, thou shalt not do this, and thou shalt not do that, and all this stuff. It makes it kind of rolls it all into just 2 little statements. It just makes it easy. And it's not a negative thing. So, right, everybody knows that negativity is bad, right? If somebody's hollering at you about something, then you're probably not going to do what they say to do, right? But if they talk real sweet to you, husbands and wives are all about this. If they talk real sweet to you and real positive about something, it makes you more likely to do it, right? Nobody knows about that. Y'all give me this blank stare. You know what I'm talking about. So instead of all this shall not and you shouldn't and don't do this and don't do that, he said, love the Lord your God. This is something that you need to do. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. So he's being positive about this instead of negative, because everybody knows that negative it just breeds negativity, right? And so now he wants to be positive. He wants to show you, okay, these are the things that you need to do. He changes things from a negative point of view to a positive point of view. Now, why he did that, I don't know. But it seems like it would make it easier for us to do these things if it's in a more positive manner, right? Because if you're loving God with all that you have, then you're not going to put other things before God. You're not going to worship idols. You're not going to do this, and you're not going to do that. If you're doing that. And so he just tells you, love the Lord your God with everything you have. But that's really important. That's really important in our life. We need to love God with everything we have. The first 4 of the 10 Commandments are summed up in that one thing. I mean, but listen to the first 4. Let me get back to it. You can't have any other God but me. You can't make an idol, which is pretty much the same thing. And you can't bow down and worship and keep the Sabbath day. So if you're loving the Lord your God with all you got, heart, soul, and mind, then all those first 4 are going to be taken care of. You don't have to worry about them. You got it, right? Now the likelihood of us actually doing that is slim to none. However, that's our goal. That's our corner post. That's what we're going to sit in the corner. This is the deal. This is the standard. This is what we're going to go by, right? This is what we're going to shoot for every single time. A corner post that looks this good, right? We're going to get to standards here in a minute. But the second 6, or the last 6, the next 6, we're going to say, are summed up in the second. Love your neighbor as yourself. Right? I mean, who's going to steal from their self? Anybody do that? I mean, I move money around and stuff, so I can't see it, but it's not really like stealing from myself, right? I still own it. You don't steal stuff from yourself, right? You can't take it, you can't covet anything that you already have, right? So when it says to love your neighbor as yourself, do you respect yourself? Most people would probably say yes, some would probably say no. But if you respect all the things that you have, that's how you should act toward other people. And I don't just mean your neighbor like in your neighbor that's like, of course where I live, my neighbor's like 2 miles away, right, 3 miles away. I only have close neighbors. Some of you might have one next door. Some of you might have one 500 feet. I mean, it just, it depends on where you live. That's not what this is talking about. When it says love your neighbor as yourself, what does Christ define as a neighbor? Everybody. Everybody's your neighbor. Anybody that you come in contact with, whether it's on the road, whether it's at work, at home, wherever. Those people are your neighbor. So what does that mean? All the people that you get mad at for cutting you off in traffic, or all the people that you get mad at because they put up a big old fence where you didn't want one and it's right on your line, you got to look at it, or they put up a nasty old barn with a bunch of junk under it right next to your fence line, and you have to look at it, or whatever. It doesn't mean that you need to go over and spray paint hate things on their stuff, right? That wouldn't kind of be rude a little bit. And so, loving your neighbor as yourself counts for everyone that you come in contact with. Everyone that you deal with on a day-to-day basis or once a year, or once in a lifetime, no matter when it is, right? You can be rude to anybody and they'll probably just shrug you off and go on. But if you're nice to somebody, if you're above and beyond good to somebody, what are they going to say? There's something different about that guy, or that girl, or that lady, or that man. Something's different about them. I wonder what it is. And they may ask you about it, and then that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, do you know my friend Jesus Christ? Do you know my buddy? Because he's the one that does this work in me. He's the one that helps me. He's the one that's giving me this corner post that I can rely on, that I can fix my property, my life off with. And say, I need to love my neighbor as myself. How would that turn around things in your life? How would that turn around situations that you get in when you open your mouth when you shouldn't because you're mad or upset or angry, and you spout off something that you shouldn't, and usually it has a couple of four-letter words in it, and afterward you think, I probably shouldn't have said that because it probably made things escalate or get worse. How would that change if you had this corner post in your life that said, love your neighbor as yourself? How many people in here cuss yourself out? Anybody? Yeah, a couple people. Yeah. I have probably done it sometime in my life. In fact, I'm almost certain I did way back when. But here's the deal. That's not loving yourself. And if you're not loving yourself, how are you going to love other people? How are you going to show other people the love of Christ? Which is our goal, right? It's important that we have these things, have these posts, these corners, and set well. Do you know, before I get into that, these two corners are going to be the main points of our faith, right? Because everything that has to do with these 2 points is going to point everything to God, right? It's going to point ourselves. It's going to point everything we do, how we treat God and how we treat other people, is going to point everything to Him. Because if we're loving Him, our relationship with Him is good, is great, is growing, then our relationships with other people are also going to be good and great and growing. Because He's going to be doing a work in us in order to get us that way. We talked about sanctification a few weeks ago. And that's kind of what that is. You're growing in a relationship with God, and in turn, that grows your relationship of love with each other. And so it's all part of that sanctification process that we call our life. So without a relationship with God, we suffer, our bearings get all messed up. And I don't mean our ball bearings. I mean our moral compass bearings. I mean, we don't have anything to standardize our right and wrong. The only way we know is by whatever the heck we feel. Yeah, I think I feel like this today, or whatever. But we don't have a real standard other than the laws that our country gives us of what moral bearings, moral compass is all screwed up. It's backwards and upside down and sideways, right? And you can't ever tell where it's going to be from day to day. We don't have a standard. And it got me thinking about not having a standard. Has anybody ever dealt with an RCS on a fence job? Did you know that there is a correct and an incorrect way to build a fence? Did you know that? Like for real? And it's like there's a standard. And they have it drawn out. You got to use this size post with this size wire, and it's got to be this many feet apart, and it's got to be in the ground so many feet, and it's got to be so many feet till the next post, and it's got, man, there's more stuff on there than you can shake a stick at. It's wicked bad, but it's a standard. This is, and what they've just gone through and said, look, this is the way it's gotta be, right? And it's, you know, if you're doing a cost sharing deal or something with the RCS, you have to do it their way in order for them to pay for however much they pay for it, which I can't imagine it being a whole bunch, but I'm sure it helps out, right? And so, there's a standard that you have to do things by in order to get that money, because you gotta do it their way or you don't get their money, right? Obviously. But, there's a standard of their corner post. The corner post has got to be, it's like 8 foot. You had that done, didn't you? It was like 8 foot from corner to, for the H, and then you had to have certain crosses and signals and, you know, all kind of stuff, right? It's just crazy stuff. And you're like, what's the point? Well, you know, they have a standard, and it's got to be their way, right? And so these corner posts, these 2 corner posts are the standard. Jesus came down. He is our standard in which our moral compass should be pointing to, in which our lives should be measured up against, right? And so if we measure ourselves to the standard that is Jesus Christ, whom by the way was perfect, in case you didn't know, we don't measure up. We're not going to get the money, right? We're not going to get the money from NRCS if we measure ourselves against the standard that is Jesus Christ. We can't. But if we make Him, if we make these couple of things, and more to come in the next few weeks, if we make these things our corners, our standards that we live our lives by, what's that going to look like for us? What's that going to look like? There's a couple of things we talked about earlier about keeping stuff in and keeping stuff out, right? That's what a fence does. We make our corners good. We have our corners that are the standard that is Jesus Christ. Then we can run our fence and we can keep stuff in and we can keep stuff out, right? And what are some things that you want to keep in? You want to keep in your cow, right? And anything that's yours, your property, anything that is important to you, right? There's some other things, if you do this, you're going to keep in. You're going to fill yourself with, and that's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those are all things that you're going to have. Right? And so, we're going to keep things in that are important to us. These things are going to be important to us now because our standards have changed from probably something that was dilapidated or fallen over or half worn out and rotted out at the bottom and all this to something that's going to be a standard, something that's going to be there forever, something that's going to be perfect. And so now we're going to keep these things in, this joy, this peace, this love. And then there's some other stuff. There's some stuff you want to keep out, right? Like your neighbor's bull. You want to keep that out. Especially if it's, of course, everybody thinks their neighbor's bull is junk, and they got the best bull in the world. But you know, if your neighbor's got a Brangus bull and you got straight Herefords, then you probably don't want that sucker breeding, right? Because you're trying to raise, 100% registered Herefords. That's what you bought the dang Herefords for, right? You want to be 100%. You don't want your neighbor's Brangus bull to get in there and breed them suckers. You end up with some black baldies. Nobody wants black baldies. I'm just kidding. Everybody wants black baldies for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand that. But your neighbor's bull is one of those things you want to keep out, right? And anything else that is going to cause you or your family harm, right? You want to keep those things out. What are some of those things? Hate, greed, lust, addictions, lies, and faithfulness. We want to keep those things out. In order to keep those things out, we've got to have good corners. We've got to have good corners so we can have a strong fence. So we can keep that junk out. How strong does your fence have to be? How strong does your fence have to be? What are the things that you're dealing with? Maybe it was some of the things I mentioned that you need to keep out. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you got it all down pat. Maybe you got it all just easy going. But I don't know anybody like that, so you're probably lying if you do. When I said lies, gotta keep those out. Our fence needs to be strong so we can keep the things of God in. And that just means in our heart. That doesn't mean we don't share them. Right? And we need to keep the bad stuff out. And in order to do that, we need to have these corners set up and set up perfect. They need to be the standard that is Jesus Christ. These things are important. Just like having a good corner is important. It's one of the most important things when you're building a fence is having a strong corner. A good corner. It determines the fate of your fence. Having these things set up in our lives as the corners, the things that we count on, determines the fate of our moral compass, the fate of what we're doing. Because here's the deal. If you don't believe that you need to do this, then you may want to check yourself on whether or not you know Jesus Christ. Because these things were given, Jesus Christ gave us these things in Matthew. And then God gave them to Moses years before. Right? God loved us so much. Our God, the God that we serve and worship, loved us so much that even though we were messed up, screwed up, totally just mean, nasty people, sent His Son into this world to die in order to pay the price that we deserve for our sin, for our messed upness. Is that even a word? Is now. He sent His Son to the world to die for us so that we could be right in front of Him, like we talked about before, so we can be justified in front of Him. We can be righteous in front of God because of that, if we so choose. Let's pray. If you're here this morning and you've never accepted Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, and God just is on your heart, He's just tugging at you to do so, you can do that now. I'm going to say the sinner's prayer. You say it after me, say it to yourself, but it's got to be real. It's got to be, this is not a joke. This is not okay, maybe I might. You've got to want it. Do just like this. Lord, I'm a sinner. I need you in my life. God, I thank you for sending your Son to die on the cross so that I may be free from sin and I may be righteous in front of you. And I want to follow hard after you for the rest of my life. God, I thank you for this morning. I thank you for the beauty of being able to wake up, Lord, and have the sunshine and to come here and to worship you, to give you praise and honor and glory. God, you're an amazing God, a merciful God, a mighty God. And we can't ever measure up to the standard that you sent your Son. God, it's our goal to try, to seek you, so that every day we may become a little more like you. God, we thank you and we love you. In your name I pray. Amen.
Let's stand up. There's a long black train coming down the line, feeding off the souls that are lost and blind. Rails of sin, only evil remains. Watch out, brother, through that long